Hi, I'm Woody Beckner. This is my good buddy Chris Bridge on the acoustic bass. And today we're going to investigate the great jazz standard Autumn Leaves. We're going to do it in G minor. We're going to talk about some different things that we can do to improvise on it, talk about some different drop two voicings and some exercises we might do. Be real casual and look forward to it. Let's start off and we'll do we'll run through just the melody, and I'm going to use drop two voicings on the top four strings of the guitar only. So we'll do that, and then we'll start talking about some ways we might consider to improvise over it. So here we go. 1, 2, 1. That was our melody in the drop two voicings. As a jazz musician, then we're looking at trying to start thinking about soloing. This song is great if we break it down into some the different things that exist within those chord changes. One of the first things we've talked about are guide tones. Most everybody knows what they are. They're the 3rd and 7th of the chord. So if we had our C minor 7, the guide tone is going to be the E flat and then the B flat. Now, in any time you have a 2 minor 7 to a 5/7, in this case we've got C minor 7 going to F7, we're only going to have 3 different guide tones, because the minor 3rd of the C minor, the E flat, is going to be the same as the flat 7 of the F7, which is the E flat. So we've got, for the C minor, we've got E flat, B flat, that flat 7 of the minor goes down by a half step to the 3rd of the dominant, and then we're back up to the flat 7 of the dominant. So we've got. Now the melody of this tune, when we started off, we played, that's that E flat 7. So the melody of Autumn Leaves is quite made up of guide tones and different chord tones. So let's go through this melody, or let's go through these chord changes, and what I'm going to do is play the guide tones for you. Just using those. I may do a little bit of enclosure. Enclosure means you're going to play the note a half step above the guide tone and a half step below the guide tone, so you're wrapping that up. So I'm going to do a solo using just guide tones and a little bit of enclosure through the Autumn Leaves chord progression. Ready, Chris? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that was through the entire progression using, and pretty much throughout I was using the 3, moving to the flat 7, then to the 3, back to that flat 7. Use that throughout with a little bit of enclosure, which makes it sound a little bit more musical. With the enclosure, a lot of times we'll do that as a pickup, meaning it's before the measure starts. 1, 2, 3. That was the pickup. So that's a good tool to use there. I also occasionally use what's called a chromatic pickup. I would go 1, 2, 3. Here it is. Again. Cool. So there's a couple ways you can look at making your guide tones maybe sound a little bit more musical, as it were. Within the context of the tune, another really cool thing with this one, we're going to only use our diatonic modes that exist. The tune's in G minor, which is the same as your B flat major. So the chords that exist in that B flat major are, we've got B flat major 7, we've got C minor 7, that's our 2 chord, D minor 7 is our 3 chord, E flat major 7 is our 4 chord, F7 is our 5, G minor is our 6, that's your relative minor, hence the key, A minor 7 flat 5 is your 7, and you're back to your 1. So the arpeggios, the notes of the chord, and the spellings, that's why those chord spellings are so important. We can use those, we can use the modes, which is you can describe them all as being related to that parent G minor, natural minor, or the B flat major scale. If we started off and went through this tune, it's pretty interesting. We can go, let's play through the tune again real slowly. I'm going to do those 3 pitches of each one. When we start off, we've got the first chord C minor, and I went, well, the next chord is F7, and the next note of the scale is the F. The next chord is B flat major 7, E flat major 7, then it's 7 minor 7 flat 5, or 2 of the G minor, back to the D7, and then we're back to that G. So I'm going to play through for a minute using that idea, showing you how that's a viable solo tool. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another very simple but a nice little musical device that you can use through this tune. We've got arpeggios. What are arpeggios? The notes of the chord. That's why that spelling's important. So on the C minor 7, you've got, now you can do things that, the big deal when you're thinking about these melodic ideas is that's only one part of the equation. The other part is the rhythm. When you heard me playing the 3 notes, I was changing that rhythm around a little bit, which that's what gives you the musical idea. Always remember that the notes are extremely important, but the rhythm is what sells the idea. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Brad?
Absolutely.
So if we've got the C minor 7, let's play the first 4 bars of the progression, and we'll see how that's working. So we've got thinking arpeggios. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Arpeggio ideas. So can be very cool. Now there I was just going up the arpeggio. C, E flat, G, B flat, and then what did I do? I resolved that to the third of that dominant 7, which is the A on the F7. In a jazz situation, if I've got a C minor 7, I might consider playing a C minor 9. That's available. I could have gone up to the 9. Now what did I do there? I went C, E flat, G, B flat, D, went back to the E flat, and then up to the F, which is the tonic of the following chord. Let's play this first 4 bars again, Chris. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's an idea that you can use there. Don't always have to start on the root. We could start on another pitch. So instead of starting on the C, I could start on the E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those things can work. Pretty darn cool. When we get to that A minor 7 flat 5, that could be analyzed as a 7 minor 7 flat 5 in the key of B flat, if we're looking at it as a B flat major. It can also be the 2 chord in the G harmonic minor scale. Now what is that G harmonic minor scale? That's taking that G natural minor, G Aeolian, G to G out of the key of B flat. Lots of ways to thinking about it. And raising the 7th pitch. So our G natural minor is G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and G. If we change that to harmonic minor, we're going to raise that F to an F sharp. We can use that over the A minor 7 flat 5. If you stack thirds out of that G harmonic minor scale, the A minor 7 flat 5 is the 2 chord in that. The 5 chord is the D7. If we stack that up, we have D, F sharp, A, C, and E flat, which gives us that flat 9 sound, then back to that G minor. So we could think that's that G harmonic minor starting on the A. We could start it on the D. So we could use that idea. Let's play that from the A minor 7 flat 5, Chris, and I'll use that sound, which is that G harmonic minor, over those 2 chords. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Let's do it again. Same spot. So this is that time I started at the A and descended. Let's go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. How about if I use some broken thirds? Now what are broken thirds? They're taking that same scale and playing every other pitch. So you're thinking, let's do that and see what we get. 1, 2, same spot. Now all these notes that we're talking about that are useful, we've got to also think about where we're placing them in that measure. So when that chord change happens and you're going from the A minor 7 flat 5 to that D7 flat 9, the note that's really important that changes is that F sharp. So you've got the idea, A minor 7 flat 5, there's the D7 chord when I hit that F sharp. Let's try that again, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Same spot, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when I went up to that B, what was that? Well, that's the same idea on that G7 that's taking us back to the C minor 7. So we could use there that C harmonic minor scale, but starting on G. Is there something we're noticing here, a pattern? All you've got to do to use that the harmonic minor scale over that dominant 7 chord is think about the natural resolution. Now that natural resolution is always going through your cycle of fourths, not fifths, moving in the 4th direction. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat. So if you've got a D7 flat 9 chord, where does that want to go? It wants to go to that G minor, which is the next pitch in the cycle of fourths. So if I see the D7 flat 9, I think, okay, I'm just going to use up a 4th, D goes to the G, there's my answer. Let's do that again. I'm just going to mess around with that 4 bars there, the A minor 7 flat 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So we've got some ideas there that we can do. Now, considering what we've just been talking about, let's play through the tune, and I'm going to take a solo, and I'm not going to use anything except for guide tones, arpeggios, maybe some of the modes, and that harmonic minor sound over the D7 flat 9, as well as the G7 getting back to that C minor in the progression, standard autumn leaves progression in G minor. I'm going to play a solo, and then I'm going to accompany Chris as he plays a solo. So we're going to go through the progression twice. Cool? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Solos using the techniques that I was describing there. So there's a lot of good music available to us. I always look at when I'm learning something new, instead of trying to immediately check out every crayon in that 64 box of Crayola. If you take one, learn how to use it, you can start drawing a picture pretty quickly.
Absolutely,
you agree with me,
yes.
Mr. Britt?
Start simple.
And try to build something. Now, we didn't mention this, but I did, and Chris did as well. A lot of times with your solos, maybe think about every 4 bars starting that next phrase on a melody note of that solo. I mean, a melody note of the tune for your solo. So let's do the first 8 bars of the tune. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that melody note, the first one is that E flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Melody notes, because it makes it not just a group of notes that you're soloing over that chord progression, but there gives you that relationship to the tune, which is really very cool. The other thing, as you've noticed, I've been using those drop 2 voicings, which we've been talking about in class, on the top 4 strings. I developed this little thing, I call it my chord game. The rules of that chord game, you can use your drop 2 voicings only. You can, for chord movement, and I'm talking about the top pitch, not the bottom pitch, that top pitch can move common tone, which means it's the same pitch. So if it was going from C minor 7 to F7, I might keep the G on the top, which would make that an F9. So that's the common tone. I can move it a half step, I can move it a whole step, or a minor third only. Now what does that do? It makes it so that you're starting to be able to move up and down the neck, not playing the exact same chord voicings that you did the last time. Once you get comfortable with doing this, you start hearing what the other players are playing, and you might play a note that they just played. You might hopefully give them an idea about where they may go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and play that progression for Autumn Leaves again, have Chris walk the bass, and I'm going to do that chord game, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go through maybe twice through the progression so
Sure.
I can show you the different ones that, and you'll notice how I'm moving around pretty fluidly. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got your chord game that'll get you using those drop 2 voicings. Of course, you've got to be able to work your drop 2 voicings out. What that is, it's using every chord that you have. If it's a 4-note chord, you've got 4 different voicings. So that's C minor 7. I've got a C minor 7. I've got a C minor 7. I've got a C minor 7. And I've got a C minor 7. Now, with those, it's pretty cool. Here I've got the E flat, which is that minor third. I could add that F, which would make it an 11. I could go then F, E flat. I could add the D, which would make it a 9. There's my root C. There's my C minor 7 with the B flat. There's the A, which is the 6. And then I'm back to that G. So all those are available. That's how people start getting pretty interesting accompaniment lines. And always remember that your solo single lines are probably maybe 10% of that performance. Your accompaniment is what's going to get you the gig, because when I can make Chris sound good, he's going to be, oh man, I might want to hire Woody because he's making my solos sound pretty nice. Cool? So that's what's happening there. A couple times I use something that I didn't mention, and that's called a chromatic approach, and you can do that either up or down, meaning if I had a C minor 7 going to an F9, I could have gone, and do that. And again, rhythmically, that can help. Thanks so much for spending some time with me and with Chris. We're going to play one more time through the tune. I'm going to play the melody. I'm going to play a solo. Chris will play the solo, and I'll come back with the melody, and we'll be finished for the day. Thanks so much, and look forward to more stuff on YouTube from Woody Beckner on guitar, Chris Bridge on the acoustic bass. Thanks so much for coming out and playing with me today,
man.
Chris. So here we go. Autumn Leaves, using what we've been talking about. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.